Earlier this year, we had it reported that Blackrock CEO Larry Fink was lamenting the failures of ESG behind the scenes. Lamenting is probably not a strong enough term for the meltdown that was reported to have happened. And now we're having the Wall Street Journal report that diversity isn't in fact our greatest strength. What is happening? Are we finally growing up? Have we finally turned the corner on this insanity? Well, I don't want to get too prophetic or too positive about the future, but I think there's some hope on the horizon here. Diversity was supposed to make us rich. Now, not so much. And new research questions the methodology of the McKinsey study that helped create widespread belief that diversity is good for products. Now, this article is paywalled behind the Wall Street Journal, but thankfully, and shout out to Robbie Starbuck, but he is somebody who has been spearheading a push to get all of these terrible policies out of companies and out of corporations and to get them back on the track of, focusing on what the customer wants instead of what a bunch of special interest groups want. Okay, so he summarized the gist of this article. On the heels of our boycott that ended woke policies at Tractor Supply, we'll get into that. Put a pin in that for a second. The Wall Street Journal now reports that DEI has no ties to profitability. The McKinsey study used to push DEI and other social issues under the premise that it would make companies rich was bogus. The failure of the ETF Diversity Index on the London Stock Exchange is just one example on the list. The ETF was filed to the companies that were diverse, and it earned less than the rest of the market. Here's the truth. All of this was a Trojan horse to inject left-wing policies into the corporations all across the world, and it has done nothing but divide people. Unity is found by ending these divisive policies, period. Exactly. Let's take a look at a couple of the screenshots that he has here, and obviously, since 2015, the approach has been tested in the fire, the marketplace, and failed. The academics have tried to repeat McKinsey's findings and failed, concluding that there is in fact no link between profitability and executive diversity. The methodology of McKinsey's early studies, which helped create the widespread belief that diversity is good for products, is being questioned. The management consulting firm McKinsey declared in 2015 that it had found a link between profits and executive racial and gender diversity. I'm sorry, what? It was a breakthrough. The research was used by investors, lobbyists, and regulators to push the more women and minority groups on boards and justify investing in companies that appointed them. I mean, it's the same thing that the comic book industry did. They cited a Facebook poll that said that, hey, half of our audience is female, in the same way that the broader video game industry, there we go, proper terminology, thinks that by lumping in together cell phone and mobile games into the market, that somehow makes them a sizable portion of the market, when that's just clearly not the case. So they're using faulty research in order to come to ludicrous conclusions. Wow, interesting. Unfortunately, the research doesn't show what everyone thought it showed. Let's take a look, right? Let's take a look at this McKinsey study. There we go. Because we have the Wall Street Journal article from 2015 titled, New Report Finds a Diversity Dividend at Work. Is there such a thing as a diversity dividend? A new study of 366 public companies in the US, Canada, UK, Brazil, Mexico, and Chile by McKinsey and Company, a major management consultancy, found a statistically significant relationship between companies with women and minorities and their upper ranks and better financial performances as measured by earnings before interest and tax, or EBIT. The findings could further fuel employers' efforts to increase the ranks of women and people of color for executive suites and boardrooms, an issue where some progress is being made, albeit slowly. McKinsey research examined the gender, ethnic, and racial makeup of top management, top Gs, teams and boards for large concerns across a range of industries as of 2014. They then analyzed firms' average earnings before interest and taxes between 2010 and 2013. I already see a bunch of red flags that are on display right here. Like, how many different asterisks do you need to affix to the different earnings in order to come out to your own presupposed conclusion? They collected but didn't analyze other financial measures such as return on equity. Well, yeah, of course, it doesn't matter if you turn a profit. How diverse are you? Okay. Business with the most gender diverse leadership were 15% more likely to report financial returns above their national industry median. Lord have mercy, words are hard. The study showed Even more striking link turned up at concerns with extensive ethnic diversity. Okay, those best performers were 35% more likely to have financial returns that outpace their industry, according to the analysis. The report did not disclose specific companies. Okay, their source was, trust me, bro, even back in 2014. Highly diverse companies appear to excel financially due to their talent recruitment efforts, strong customer orientation, increased employee satisfaction, and improved decision-making, the report said. But we're not going to clue you into any of the methodologies, any of the numbers. Just trust us. Those possible factors emerged from prior McKinsey research about diversity. Oh, right. So we're a race-based analytics firm, and our race-based research came up to a race-based conclusion. Makes sense. McKinsey cited measurable progress among U.S. companies where women now represent about 16% of teams compared to 12% in the UK and 6% for Brazilian ones. But American businesses don't see a financial payoff from gender diversity until women constitute at least 22% of the senior executive team. The study noted, why 22%? Why that number? The study marks the first time the impact of ethnic and gender diversity on financial performance has been looked at for international sample of companies. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, it's really nothing about analyzing the market. It's just simply who has the right junk and who's in the right office. That's basically what they came down to. And well, it ended up coming up that all of that shit was bunk. Like it says, unity is found when ending these divisive policies. It was simply a Trojan horse to drive in the policies that ended up driving the market apart. Where did we see one such specific example blow up in everybody's face recently? That was with Tractor Supply. Okay, and we'll take a look here. So a farm supply chain vowed to cut DEI roles amid pressure, outcry followed. We got the Washington Post up here, of all places, reporting on this. One of the country's largest farm supply retailers announced Thursday that it would cut diversity-focused positions and withdraw its carbon emissions goals in response to right-wing pressure that sparked an uproar from the customers and advocacy groups. Tractor Supply Company made the changes after fielding criticism from customers about some of its programs, a Tennessee-based business said in a statement. It also vowed to stop submitting data to Human Rights Campaign, a big gay advocacy group. Look at the way that they like to manipulate language. Human Rights Campaign, a big gay advocacy group. Interesting. Okay, so it's almost like you don't care about human rights. You just care about your own little group of people. And to no longer sponsor pride festivals and voting initiatives. Oh yeah, just that little thing that those right-wing extremists were all up in arms about. We've heard from customers that we have disappointed them. We have taken this feedback to heart. Oh, good. The move was met with celebration from conservative activists and consternation from literally who? Including a New York animal sanctuary. Oh yeah, I bet you they do a lot of farming. LGBTQ plus organizations and an association that aims to support black farmers. An association that aims to support black farmers. They don't actually support black farmers, but they'll eventually get there. Trust us, bro. Tractor Supply did not respond to requests for comment from the Washington Post on Saturday. The company is the latest to find itself in the crossroads between customers with different political beliefs. Last year, yes, Bud Light, we were talking about that and all that crap. Tractor Supply, which sells animal feed, tractor parts, and power tools to more than 2,230 stores nationwide, was recognized for its inclusivity last year. Bloomberg praised it for promoting gender equality, while Newsweek called it one of the best U.S. companies for diversity. You see what happens? Okay, you buy into all this nonsense, and then the big media cabal just goes ahead and promotes you with all of these superfluous awards. Isn't it wonderful? Our deeply rooted mission and values are the foundation of who we are as an organization. Melissa, oh, go figure. Kersey, Tractor Supply's executive vice president. I wonder how she got that job. I bet you she got to that position after 2015. In a statement in February of 2023, they dictate that Tractor Supply prioritizes a safe, respectful, and inclusive work environment. There it is. And that values diversity of thought and perspective. Again, until we get caught, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now we actually reflect our consumers. The company came under scrutiny this month when conservative podcast host Robbie Starbuck denounced Tractor Supply's diversity and climate policies. An employee recently had messaged him to complain that the company was supporting gay groups. Starbuck told the Washington Post. Starbuck visited Tractor Supply weekly to buy provisions for his farm in Franklin, Tennessee. He said, but wasn't comfortable with the company putting money towards inclusion programs. Start buying what you can from other places until Tractor Supply makes real changes, he wrote on X on June 6th, where, he ended up having all the receipts on this. Let's take a look at this real quick, okay, because it's a big one. It's time to expose Tractor Supply. It's one of the most beloved brands in the United States by conservatives, but what do they really stand for? The CEO of Olitons? Okay, leadership, sure. Big A training for employees, funding pride and drag events, have a DEI council, okay, funding, climate change activism, they do the exact same thing. Pride Month decorations in the office, DEI hiring practices, and big gay events at work. Hal also linked the post attacking unvaccinated people, okay, and Allison W. Sports. Okay, who's that? Allison Williams. Oh, okay. When she left ESPN over the jab, let's just say those likes make it appear he's not fond of people who chose to skip the jab. So that's the CEO, I guess. I take no pleasure in bringing this all to light. I'm a Tennessean and loves to support Tennessee companies, a proud Tennessean who know those woke priorities don't align with the state and Tractor Supply's customer base. Well, yes, of course. And make our voices heard. Hal Lawton needs to understand that if we don't want our hard-earned money spent on these woke priorities, he supports the stuff that should spend some of his $11 million salary or tens of millions in stock on it instead of using money we spend at Tractor Supply. Lawton ended up making his account private. That totally makes sense. And then, yes, Tractor Supply bragged in one of their yearly reports that they donated $570,000 to DEI, including big gay youth. Tractor Supply thinks kids, can be, and all that other crap as well. All of those policies, that was all based on faulty studies that now people are starting to reconcile with and realize that, all of these policies, they were a promise of making money, but in reality, in the real world, we're eventually going to have to make money because eventually, there's only so many lies that we can tell people, and there's only so many numbers that we can fudge until ultimately the rubber's going to have to hit the road, or in this case, the tractors are going to have to hit the field. And when people have local alternatives that don't push this type of stuff, I guess we're just going to have to play fair after all. God damn it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.